Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. First of all, I would like to thank each one of you for the support and the encouragement that you have shown to this channel and the content on this channel. As I have stated earlier, it would be my greatest endeavor to ensure that the content that is available on this channel is not only relevant for the civil services examination but for anyone who's wanting to understand the governance and political system in India in a better manner. आज मैं एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक के बारे में बात करने वाला हूं विच इज़ मूवी सेंसरशिप इन इंडिया. And before I get into the depth of this particular topic, I would like to take you back in time. August of 1975. India was under emergency, fundamental rights had been suspended, various political leaders of the opposition were behind the bars. और मुंबई के एक छोटे से प्रीव्यू थिएटर के अंदर CBFC के कुछ ऑफिशियल्स बैठकर ये डिसाइड कर रहे थे that what will be the climax of one of the most watched movies in India's cinema's history, and that was movie Sholay. इस मूवी का ओरिजिनल प्लॉट ये था that ठाकुर बलदेव सिंह, who was a retired policeman, his family had been slaughtered by Gabbar Singh, a very notorious dacoit, and he wanted to take revenge from him. He had hired two hitmen for this particular purpose, Amitabh Bachchan and Dharmendra, whom we know as Jay and Veeru in this movie. And finally, when they were able to catch hold of him, and when he's brought in front of Thakur Baldev Singh is wearing shoes with steel spikes, and he's supposed to take away the life of Gabbar Singh. Ending to yahi honi thi, but the ending which we ended up witnessing was something which was very different. The ending that we got to know was where Thakur Baldev Singh hands over Gabbar Singh to police, क्योंकि एक रिटायर्ड पुलिसमैन को कानून अपने हाथों में नहीं लेना चाहिए. Thakur Baldev Singh anyway could not have taken law into his own hands because he did not have hands. But the reason why this change was made to the ending of the movie was because of the censorship laws in India. 1975 was a very turbulent time in Indian politics. सरकार को कहीं ना कहीं ये डर था that if this movie ending goes out and if it becomes popular, the signal that it would send to most of the people in the country is that if you have any kind of personal enmity, आपकी कोई भी personal रंजिश किसी और के साथ है, तो आप कानून को अपने हाथ में ले सकते हैं and you can settle score with that person by yourself. The government did not want to send this message and CBFC was aligned to this. Therefore, they directed the makers of the movie to make a change in the climax of the movie. Ramesh Sippy, the maker of the movie, had to fly the entire crew of Sholay back to Bangalore because the shooting of the movie was taking place in Ramnagar, which is a few kilometers away from Bangalore. और संजीव कुमार, जो उस समय देश में भी नहीं थे, he had to be flown back to India to finish the movie. It's only after 50 years in 2025 that the audience was actually able to see the original cut of the movie. और आज हम इन्हीं censorship laws के बारे में बात करेंगे. We will be discussing what are the problems that exist with the censorship laws of India, what are the reforms that are required, and why is it that we often keep facing challenges as far as the movie censorship in India is concerned. First things first, let's talk about the constitutional provisions as far as the movie censorship in India is concerned. As all of you would know, Indian Constitution gives us right to freedom of speech and expression as citizens of India. And this provision of right to freedom of speech and expression flows from Article 19(1)(a) of the Indian Constitution. Article 19(1)(a) provides to all the citizens of India freedom of speech and expression. Mind you, this is a right that is available only to the citizens of India. This right to freedom of speech and expression does not include our right to only write speeches or make speeches or to speak to someone, but it also includes a wide variety of rights, including the right to compose songs, conduct drama, theatre, make movies, write movie scripts, conduct stand-up comedy shows. And for that matter, ये जो lecture हम अभी conduct कर रहे हैं on YouTube is also a part of exercise of my right to freedom of speech and expression. So this is a very broad right. It should not be restricted only to certain specificities. Rather, as I said, this right includes the right to make and publish movies. But at the same time, I must also tell you that this particular right is not unrestricted is not absolute in nature. It is not unrestricted in nature. There are certain grounds on the basis of which restrictions can be imposed by the state in India on the exercise of this right. For that, we need to understand the text of Article 19(2) of the Indian Constitution. ये राइट जरूर है, पर इसके ऊपर रिस्ट्रिक्शन स्टेट 19(2) के बेसिस पे लगा सकता है. Article 19(2) of the Indian Constitution states that there is a possibility of the state imposing reasonable restrictions on the exercise of this right under Article 19(1)(a) of the Indian Constitution. And these reasonable restrictions, by the way, have to be imposed only by a law of the legislature. Now, क्या किसी भी ग्राउंड के बेसिस के ऊपर आर्टिकल 19(1)(a) पे किसी भी सिटीजन के राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन को लिमिट या रिस्ट्रिक्ट किया जा सकता है? No. It can be restricted only on the basis of specific grounds that have been mentioned in Article 19(2). Some of these specific grounds, for example, would include sovereignty and integrity of India. So what that means is that I cannot be making any speeches, I cannot be writing any songs, I cannot be publishing any books, or be making any movies that try to break apart India, that try to promote secession of some part of territory of India from India. Similarly, it can also be restricted on the grounds of public order. So in no way my right to freedom of speech and expression should disturb public peace and tranquility in India. किसी भी तरीके से इससे कोई भी विवाद, कोई भी रायट्स, किसी भी तरीके का डिस्टर्बेंस ऑफ पब्लिक ऑर्डर नहीं होना चाहिए. Similarly, it can be restricted on the basis of the grounds of defamation. If you exercise your right to freedom of speech and expression where you are making false statements against an individual in order to bring down their reputation in the society, it can be restricted by the state. There are several other grounds also that have been mentioned, which include contempt of court, which means you cannot be bringing the courts into disrepute in India by exercising your right to freedom of speech and expression. You cannot be inciting an offense. आप किसी को उकसा नहीं सकते हैं in order to carry out an offense while you are exercising your right to freedom of speech and expression. You cannot be carrying out any kind of immoral acts on the grounds of decency or morality as well. Right to freedom of speech and expression can be restricted by the state. What if you are making some speeches, some songs? What if you are writing some books that are trying to disturb India's friendly relations with some of the foreign states? Say for example, United States of America or Russia or Australia or Japan. That can also be a ground for restricting your freedom of speech and expression, and therefore the other ground for restricting freedom of speech and expression in 19(2) is friendly relations with foreign state. And lastly, your right to freedom of speech and expression cannot be exercised in order to compromise the security of the state in India. बट अगर इन ग्राउंड्स के बियॉन्ड राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन को स्टेट रिस्ट्रिक्ट करने की कोशिश करता है तो वो अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल की कैटेगरी में आएगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, if you are making a speech that is criticizing the government with respect to its policies, it is perfectly okay until unless it incites violence or it incites riots or it leads to contempt of court and so on and so forth. You are perfectly well within your right of freedom of speech and expression to even criticize the Prime Minister of the country or Chief Minister of your state, And if the state tries to restrict your freedom of speech and expression on this particular ground, it will not be allowed for them to do so. Let me tell you something very interesting here. In a case named as K.A. Abbas versus Union of India, this is a judgment of the Supreme Court of India from 1980. Justice Hidayatullah, who was also the former CJI of India and also served as the President of India for a short period of time in 1969, was sitting on the bench, had given a very important judgment in this particular case. ये judgment actually आई थी एक movie के respect में. There was a documentary which had been made by a maker of the movie and it was called as A Tale of Four Cities. This was a movie about the four major cities of India and also trying to highlight the kind of poverty that is there in these cities in India. इस मूवी के अंदर एक सीन था जहां पे रेड लाइट एरिया को दर्शाया गया था एंड ऑन दैट ग्राउंड the Center Board of Film Certification had objected to this particular film and had provided it a adult certificate. और उनको बोला गया था कि अगर आप इस रेड लाइट एरिया के सीन को काटेंगे तभी हम इस मूवी की पब्लिकेशन को अलाउ करेंगे. In this case, the Supreme Court of India had stated that right to freedom of speech and expression of a citizen includes the right to make movies as well. Which means that when I am making a movie, under Article 19(1)(a) of the Indian Constitution, I have been provided protection by the Constitution of India. And until and unless there are some solid reasons on the basis of which the state can say they can restrict my right to freedom of speech and expression, they cannot restrict my right to even make the movies as well. तो ये तो हुई constitutional provisions की बात. Also, as far as the statutory provisions in India with respect to movie censorship is concerned, we have a law which was enacted by the Parliament in the year 1952, and that law is called as the Cinematograph Act of 1952. ये इमेज आप में से बहुत सारे लोगों ने बहुत बार देखी होगी. Whenever we go to a movie hall or whenever we are watching a movie at home, we see that there is a certificate that is displayed before the publication of the movie. This is the certificate that is issued by a body which is known as the CBFC, the Center Board of Film Certification. तो इसके बारे में थोड़ा बात करते हैं. Center Board of Film Certification is a body that has been recognized and created under the Cinematograph Act in India. Cinematograph Act of 1952. Now, what is this Cinematograph Act? What are the important provisions under this Cinematograph Act of 1952? There is a body which has been created under this particular act, which I was just telling you, which is called as the CBFC, Center Board of Film Certification. Center Board of Film Certification का काम है मूवीज को सर्टिफाई करना. मूवीज को सर्टिफिकेशन प्रोवाइड करना सेंटर बोर्ड ऑफ फिल्म सर्टिफिकेशन का काम है इंडिया के अंदर. सो हाउ डू दे डू दिस एंटायर एक्टिविटी? व्हेनेवर एनी मूवी मेकर मेक्स अ मूवी and they want it to be published in the theaters or in the cinema halls, they need to go with their movie to the Center Board of Film Certification. सेंटर बोर्ड ऑफ फिल्म सर्टिफिकेशन में अगर मैं आज के समय में बात करूं, इट हैज वन चेयरपर्सन and it is supposed to have up to 25 members and 60 advisory members as well on their board. So what will happen is that the movie will be given to CBFC. CBFC इस मूवी के लिए एक एग्जामिनिंग कमिटी की बैठक बिठाता है. There is a sitting of the examining committee of CBFC which is organized by the CBFC for reviewing, for screening this movie and for checking what is the content of this movie. On the basis of their examination, CBFC suggests what is the certification that should be provided to this movie. They may give this movie a universal certificate which would be suitable for viewing for people of all ages. They may provide it a UA certificate where it is universal, but for children below the age of 12 years and so on and so forth, there should be some kind of adult supervision. Then they can also provide an adult certification to the movie that it is only fit for viewing of the adults, or they may also provide an S certificate to the movie where it is a movie that is made only for people of certain specific professions. 2023 के अंदर हमने इस लॉ में कुछ चेंजेस किए एंड नाउ द यूए सर्टिफिकेशन दैट इज प्रोवाइडेड हैज बीन फर्दर क्लासिफाइड इनटू UA 7+, UA 13+, and UA 16+ category. This is in line with the recommendations that were provided by one of the committees that had been formed by the government, which was called as the Shyam-Benegal Committee, and I will be talking about that very soon. So, the examining committee provides certificate to this particular movie. Apart from it, the examining committee may also recommend cuts on the movie to the makers. They may suggest that these are the changes that need to be made in the movie along with the certification. They may suggest that right now your movie will be given only adult certificate, but if you want a UA certificate, you need to remove these particular scenes from the movie. Let us say that if I as a movie maker am not happy with the certification that has been provided by CBFC, what is that I can do? In that circumstance, I can go and I can appeal in what is called as the review committee of CBFC. Review committee would look into my request and the review that has been put up by me in front of CBFC, and they may consider my request, reject my request. That depends entirely on the review committee. Once the review committee has given its decision, then what is the result? Let us say that I am not happy with the review that has been given by the review committee and they are still suggesting me that you should make these cuts if you want this movie to be provided with UA certificate. Please do remember, if the movie is going to have an adult certificate, that necessarily means that the audience of the movie is going to be very restricted in nature. So ideally, any movie maker would want that their movie should be carrying at least a U or a UA certificate, because they will be able to reach the widest of the audiences and it will be a movie that will be fit for family viewing as well. Because ultimately when we people go to theatre, we tend to go in family. Right? So the review committee, let's say if you are not happy with it, the present mechanism that exists in the law is that you may appeal against the decision of the review committee in the concerned High Court. Before 2021, the review committee's decision could be appealed in front of an appellate tribunal. इस appellate tribunal को FCAT भी कहा जाता था, and this was the mechanism that existed prior to 2021. But then the government said that we don't need to have the appellate tribunal because it slows down things, which unfortunately it actually didn't, and ideally should have been there in place till now as well. But anyway, we will come back to that. Appellate tribunal was removed from the entire procedure, and now the only way that you can get a review of the decision given by the review committee is to go to the concerned High Court. So this is the procedure or the process that is followed by the CBFC. But there are a few things to understand here. Even after certificate has been provided with respect to a movie by the CBFC, it is possible for the central government, under one of the provisions of this act, to either change the certificate of the movie themselves, or they may even restrict, they may even suspend the publication of this movie. So for that, we need to know what this section is. The section that I am talking about in this act is section 6 of the Cinematograph Act of 1952. As I said, this section empowers the central government to do two things. One, the central government can change the certification that has been provided to a particular movie by the CBFC. Of course, they would be doing this in public interest. And the second thing that the central government can do is that they can even suspend the publication of the movie. Which means that even though we have created a mechanism where the CBFC is supposed to provide certificate for the movie, but there is a way in which the central government can overpower the decision of this CBFC. The other thing which you also need to remember here is that, see, ultimately the members of CBFC that we were talking about are chairperson plus 25 other members and up to 60 advisory board members, are all appointed by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. So I hope that you are getting the hint of where all the problems can lie in the way the CBFC functions in the country. So what basically happens is that it's the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in India that is responsible for the appointment of the CBFC members. Apart from it, there are a couple of other sections in this law as well which give powers to the local authorities to suspend the publication of a particular movie. So there are powers that have also been given to the district magistrate to suspend the publication of a movie on the grounds of public order in area under their jurisdiction. And this has precisely been the reason because of which in the past we have seen that movies like Padmavat or movies like Vishwarupam, or for that matter movies like Bengal Files, have witnessed several roadblocks in different states in India. Padmavat के बारे में आपको पता ही होगा that it faced several roadblocks in the states of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Haryana. Similarly, as far as Vishwarupam is concerned, it faced several roadblocks in Tamil Nadu, Bengal Files in West Bengal, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the provisions that we need to know as far as the CBFC and its functioning is concerned. Now, CBFC का ये जो आर्किटेक्चर बनाया गया है, इसमें बहुत सारे challenges और problems हैं, and those are the things that we need to keep in mind if we have to be able to analyze this system better. तो इस तरीके का कुछ एक सर्टिफिकेट एक मूवी को दिया जाता है CBFC की तरफ से. शोले को भी ऐसा सर्टिफिकेट देने के लिए उन्होंने बोला, बट दे सेड कि आप पहले इस मूवी की जाके एंडिंग चेंज कीजिएगा. सो वेयर डज द CBFC फेल? What are the reasons because of which the CBFC fails? This is a poster from one very famous movie which was made by Shekhar Kapoor, and that is The Bandit Queen. और मैं इसके ऊपर भी आऊँगा. There is a very important case known as the Bobby International case, in which the Supreme Court had talked about artistic freedom and had talked about how the provisions under 19(1)(a) and the Cinematograph Act of 1952 need to be interpreted as liberally as possible by the various regulatory bodies in India. Anyway, let's come back to the point and let me quickly talk about what are the challenges that exist as far as the Cinematograph Act of 1952 is concerned. See, the first challenge which is there with the CBFC regime in India as of now is that the appointment is heavily politicized. Since the appointments are made by the government, often they are not bipartisan in nature. People, those who are appointed to these bodies, carry their own political ideology, and often they try to toe the line of what the government in power wants them to do. The second challenge which is there is that there is often a bias of the members of the board also that comes in individually as far as providing certification to these movies is concerned. So we often see that board members come up with their own arguments as to why a particular movie needs to have certain cuts, etc., and so on and so forth. The third issue is that by name, Center Board of Film Certification is supposed to be only certifying and only giving certificate for the movies. But unfortunately, this board has become a censor board more than a certifying board. And therefore, there is a significant curbing of the artistic freedom that has been done by this particular board in the past. So we can also mention that there have been allegations of curbing artistic freedoms in India by the Center Board of Film Certification. See, the other thing which has been the biggest problem with the CBFC is that because CBFC wants to avoid headlines and controversies, what they tend to do is that they do not take any action on certain controversial movies because उनको लगता है कि हम कुछ action लेंगे तो भी problem होगी, कोई action नहीं लेंगे तो भी problem होगी, and therefore they don't tend to take any action at all on the movies that are put up in front of them. So they often avoid taking action on movies pending in front of them. And see, what this does is that काफ़ी लंबे समय तक मूवीज जब CBFC के सामने पेंडिंग रहती हैं तो बोर्ड की इन डिफिकल्टीज की वजह से it creates challenges for the movie makers. They have to plan the distribution, they have to plan the marketing around the movie, and unfortunately they are not able to indulge in any such activities because of the entire uncertainty that surrounds the movie. Unfortunately, what we have also seen is that the government criticism has often been reduced by the CBFC. बहुत सारी मूवीज़ के अंदर जब कई बार गवर्नमेंट को क्रिटिसाइज किया जाता है तो CBFC जानबूझ के उन मूवीज़ के पाथ में किसी ना किसी तरीके के ऑब्स्टिकल्स क्रिएट करती है. लेट मी टेल यू, दिस इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम दैट इज यूनिक टू द प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट ओनली इन पावर. दिस हैज बीन अ फिनोमिनन विच हैज बीन देयर फॉर द लॉन्गेस्ट टाइम. सो व्हाट वी कैन ऑल्सो मेंशन इज दैट गवर्नमेंट क्रिटिसिज्म is often avoided in approved movies. Some of you may have heard of the movie Homebound. It was India's entry to the Oscars. And इस मूवी के अंदर कुछ ऐसे सीन्स थे जहां पे गवर्नमेंट्स इन एक्शन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू COVID-19 had been shown, and before the movie was provided certification, इस मूवी के वो कुछ सीन्स कट कर दिए गए. बहुत सारे केसेस में ये भी देखा गया है that CBFC's cuts that they have proposed or censorship that they have proposed on the movies has been extremely vague and arbitrary in nature, because the terms that have been provided in section 5B of this particular act that allow the CBFC to impose cuts on the movie are very vague in nature. See, something like sovereignty and integrity of India, public order, incitement to an offense is something very vague in nature and can possibly be misused by those who are sitting in the CBFC. So the vague provisions and the definitions that have been provided under this particular act often lead to a large number of vague cuts also being promoted on such movies. एक particular example जो मेरे दिमाग में आता है, last year there was a movie which had been made on the life of ज्योतिबा फुले and सावित्रीबाई फुले, और उस मूवी के अंदर कम से कम नहीं तो 12 से 13 कट्स सजेस्ट किए गए थे बाय द CBFC बिकॉज ऑफ कास्ट रेफरेंसेस इन दिस मूवी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, उस मूवी के अंदर एक सीन दिखाया गया था जहां पे एक आदमी झाड़ू लेके जा रहा है, एंड दैट सीन वॉज ऑल्सो आस्क्ड टू बी कट बाय द मेकर्स ऑफ द मूवी. नॉट ओनली दैट, पर उसमें एक डायलॉग था, 3000 साल पुरानी गुलामी. CBFC did not like that particular dialogue and they said that this needs to be changed to कई साल पुरानी गुलामी. This movie, of course, was talking about the kind of caste discrimination that exists in the Indian society and which is a reality of the Indian society. But unfortunately, CBFC was not able to digest the content of this movie and they asked for several cuts to be made on this movie, and which is extremely unfortunate. Not only that, but another major challenge which comes up with respect to the CBFC is that recently there was a report which had been published by Indian Express in the year 2025 और इस रिपोर्ट में कुछ startling revelations किए गए. The report by Indian Express basically stated that the last annual report that had been published by the CBFC was in the year 16-17. Not only that, but the last meeting of the CBFC that happened was in the year 2019. And they also noted that the board is being dominated largely by the chairperson and the other members do not have much of a role to play. Of course, many of these may be allegations that have also been refuted by the CBFC, where the CBFC said कि हमें मीटिंग की क्या जरूरत है, हमने अब जो पूरा प्रोसेस है उसको डिजिटाइज कर दिया है for submission of the movies and their approval, and therefore there is no need for us to go through this entire process of meeting every day or every quarter as the rules of CBFC prescribe. But the point that I am basically trying to make is that when a newspaper of repute like Indian Express goes ahead and says that there has been no annual report for almost a decade for the CBFC, there has been no meetings of CBFC that have been conducted for close to 7 years, it is something which is very and it needs to be addressed by CBFC as soon as possible. देखिए, रैंडमनेस की अगर मैं बात करूंगा, सीबीएफसी के कट्स जो वो इंपोज करने की कोशिश करते हैं, आई एम श्योर दैट मेनी ऑफ यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड ऑफ द मूवी लिपस्टिक अंडर माय बुरखा. CBFC was not willing to provide approval to this movie, Lipstick Under My Burqa, because they said that it is a female oriented movie. It is a lady oriented movie, and because of that it should not be provided approval. That is another thing, that later on when an appeal was made to FCAT, they overturned the decision that was given by CBFC and the review committee, and this movie later went on to become one of great critical success as well in India. This shows the absurdity and the vagueness which is often adopted by CBFC. उड़ता पंजाब के अंदर बहुत सारे कट्स इंपोज किए गए simply because there were cuss words in the movie. अगर आप ड्रग वर्ल्ड को दिखाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं एक मूवी के अंदर and you're trying to show the kind of problems that exist with respect to drug abuse in Punjab, don't you expect the makers of the movie to take some kind of creative liberty and to include abuses in the movie as well to actually show the movie in a realistic manner? These are therefore some of the biggest challenges that exist as far as CBFC is concerned. And let me tell you, ऐसा नहीं है कि CBFC को reform करने के लिए suggestions नहीं आए हैं. As early as 1969, there was a committee that had been formed by the government which was called as the Khosla Committee. And in that particular report, Khosla Committee had suggested that CBFC needs to be more liberal in their approach. They had even gone to the extent of saying that if nudity is shown in the right artistic context, then there is no need for it to be equated to be objectionable by the CBFC. इसी context में मैं आपको Bandit Queen के बारे में भी थोड़ा सा कुछ बताना चाहूँगा. As you people know, Bandit Queen was an acclaimed movie that was made by Shekhar Kapoor. In this movie, the life of protagonist Phulan Devi had been depicted. इस मूवी के अंदर एक सीन था जिसके ऊपर काफी हो हल्ला मचाया गया. That scene had shown how Phulan Devi was paraded naked around her village, and that was one such incident that led her to becoming a dreaded dacoit. The makers of this movie were dragged to the court on the grounds that they are promoting obscenity in the society and this movie needs to be banned. In a case what is known as Bobby International case, the Supreme Court of India held that the nudity that has been shown in this movie should not be seen out of context. Rather, it is very important for us to understand कि ये सीन दिखाया क्यों गया. ये सीन इसलिए दिखाया गया to show the kind of pain and agony that the protagonist has gone through, and therefore she ended up becoming a dreaded dacoit. And therefore, it is very important that the artistic freedom of the movie makers is preserved. The Supreme Court in this case stated that we should not be looking at just one particular scene out of context. It is important to see the entire movie. It is important to put the scenes of the movie in the context of the movie and see that whether nudity in that particular scene or in movie actually makes sense or not. If it has been done purely for the purpose of promoting lust among the audience, then it's a different matter altogether. But if it has been done in order to showcase the true story of the movie and it fits well into the characters, then it is perfectly okay. इनफैक्ट कोर्ट का ये कहना था कि अगर कोई भी आदमी इस मूवी के अंदर इस सीन को देखेगा तो उसके दिमाग में लस्ट नहीं पैदा होगा. Rather, that person would be looking at this movie with a lot of disgust and the kind of crime which was committed against this woman in the society and how it should not happen going ahead. Therefore, these are some of the things that we need to know as far as the challenges associated with the functioning of the CBFC in India is concerned. अब मैं जल्दी से बात करना चाहूँगा on the important judgments that have been given by the court with respect to the movie censorship in India. We have already talked very briefly about the K.A. Abbas versus Union of India case, where A Tale of Four Cities had been asked to be censored by the Supreme Court of India. So, in the K.A. Abbas versus Union of India case, what were the important things that the court had highlighted? पहली सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज जो कोर्ट ने इस केस में बोली वो ये थी that pre-censorship of movies is valid in India. Now this is a very important thing. इंडिया में केवल मूवीज ही हैं विच अंडरगो प्री सेंसरशिप. देयर इज नो अदर फॉर्म ऑफ आर्ट एक्सप्रेशन इंक्लूडिंग सॉन्ग्स, इंक्लूडिंग ड्रामा और फॉर दैट मैटर बुक्स और एनी अदर फॉर्म ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन दैट अंडरगोज प्री सेंसरशिप. अगर मुझे कोई न्यूज़ पब्लिश करनी है तो उससे पहले मुझे सरकार को उसको पब्लिश करके दिखाना नहीं पड़ेगा. बट द कोर्ट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर केस जस्टिफाइड दैट प्री सेंसरशिप ऑफ मूवीज शुड हैपन because in opinion of the court movies stand on a different plane and footing as compared to the other forms of expression in the country. Imagine if you are an illiterate person who cannot read books, who cannot be reading any kind of text, you can definitely understand the audio visual text and you will be able to understand the content of the movie. कोर्ट का ऐसा मानना था that because movies have such propensity to move our emotions at such scale, at such a mass level, therefore there is always going to be a possibility that अगर movies के अंदर कोई ऐसा content जाता है जो कि objectionable है, it can create a massive riot like situation in India and something which would be irreversible. So it is better to nip it in the bud, and therefore pre-censorship of movies should be allowed. The kind of wide reach that the movies have, the kind of audience that the movies can attract, and also audio visual has a deep psychological impact on the human mind, something which the books or written text or speech cannot replace, and therefore movies need to definitely undergo censorship in India prior to their publication, and that's why CBFC does that entire process. The second thing which was said by the court in this particular case was that the censorship that must be imposed on the movies should be within the limitations of आर्टिकल 19(2) ऑफ द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. तो किसी भी तरीके की सेंसरशिप जो मूवीज के ऊपर इंपोज की जाए वो विद इन द लिमिटेशंस ऑफ आर्टिकल 19(2) होना चाहिए. द अदर थिंग विच वाज स्टेटेड बाय द कोर्ट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर केस वाज दैट यू शुड बी जजिंग द मूवी बाय the standards of the entire film and not shot by shot. So the standards that should be applied to judge whether a movie is correct for publication in public domain should be applied on the whole movie and not shot by shot. कोर्ट ने इस केस में एक और इंपॉर्टेंट चीज बोली that when we judge whether a movie is correct for the audience to watch or not, then in that particular case we should be looking at it from the perspective of a reasonable mind. क्या एक रीजनेबल माइंड अगर इस मूवी को देखता तो वुड दे हैव बीन ऑफेंडेड बाय द मूवी और would it be a sensitive mind? So they basically said that it's the reasonable mind whose standard should be applied to judge the validity of a movie and not that of a sensitive mind. And the last and a very important point that was made by the court in this particular case was that artistic merit as much as possible should be provided importance. जितना हो सके आर्टिस्टिक फ्रीडम और मेरिट को प्रमोट करने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए. और हो सकता है कई बार कोई सीन्स ऐसे दिखाए जाएं, अगर उसको एक सीजन्ड फिल्म मेकर बनाएगा तो दे मे लुक रियली बेटर एंड दे मे कम अक्रॉस एज इन अ डिफरेंट मैनर एज कंपेयर्ड टू समवन हु मे हैव पुट दो सीन्स इन अ वेरी क्रूड मैनर. दिस इज नॉट द ओनली जजमेंट. इन द रीसेंट केस रिलेटेड टू द मूवी ताज स्टोरी, the Supreme Court refused to intervene and they stated that we are not a super censor board. Taj story was facing certain difficulties in CBFC and Supreme Court का ये कहना था we are not a super censor board और अगर आपको दिक्कत है तो आप सेंसर बोर्ड के साथ ही इस मामले को सुलटाने की कोशिश कीजिए. फॉर यू टू अप्रोच अस आउट ऑफ टर्न एंड टू आस्क अस टू ओवरटर्न द डिसीजन ऑफ CBFC वुड बी रॉन्ग. The other thing that we can also basically mention as far as the judgment of the courts is concerned is the Padmavat case. Padmavat case के अंदर, as you people would know, there was a 16th century poem that had been written by a Sufi poet and उसके basis के ऊपर ये movie पद्मावत बनाई गई. Even before the movie had actually been shot, some of the groups in India started to protest and they said that they started issuing threats to the actress in the movie and the makers of the movie. In fact, the maker of the movie Sanjay Leela Bhansali को किसी ने जाके set के ऊपर थप्पड़ भी मार दिया था. तो पद्मावत मूवी के खिलाफ काफी सारा प्रोटेस्ट हुआ एंड देन फाइनली इट वाज डिसाइडेड दैट द नेम ऑफ द मूवी वुड बी चेंज्ड फ्रॉम पद्मावती टू पद्मावत. बट डिस्पाइट दैट एंड डिस्पाइट द सर्टिफिकेशन बीइंग प्रोवाइडेड टू द मूवी बाय CBFC, states went ahead and imposed ban on these movies. राजस्थान, मध्य प्रदेश, हरियाणा, इन सब और गुजरात के अंदर, इन सब स्टेट्स के अंदर इस मूवी के ऊपर बैन लगाया गया. Justice Deepak Mishra, when I was hearing the case related to the ban imposed in these states on the publication of this movie, had stated that the state should not be invoking the apprehension of breach of public peace as a ground for imposing ban on movies, because then that would completely do away with the idea of freedom of speech and expression, and it would also compromise the powers that have been given to the board like CBFC. इसी मैटर से रिलेटेड therefore I want to talk about what are some of the limits that are there on the judicial review that is imposed by the courts on the CBFC's functioning. So as you people would know, in India the courts do have the powers to examine the actions that have been taken by certain specific bodies, and one of those is the Supreme Court of India. तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट या हाई कोर्ट्स जब CBFC के एक्शंस को जुडिशली रिव्यू करती हैं, the court has in the past multiple times stated that we would not be going into the creative choices of CBFC. अगर CBFC ने किसी creative choices की वजह से किसी content को drop किया है, we will not be going into that, and the review that we will be doing of the actions of the CBFC would be very limited in nature. So what is that limited review that can be conducted by CBFC of the movies that are given approval by the CBFC, by the Supreme Court or by the High Courts? First and foremost, the court would see that whether the broad legal provisions of the Cinematograph Act have been followed or not. The second thing that the court would look into is that have they issued grounds or reasons for not allowing a movie to be published or to be given a particular kind of certificate, and thirdly, was a fair procedure followed with respect to the publication of these movies. What that basically means is दैट क्या दोनों पार्टीज को इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी दी गई टू प्रेजेंट देयर साइड ऑफ द स्टोरी. Now this brings me to one another important issue, and which is related to the regulation of the OTT platforms in India. What about the OTT platforms? See, the interesting thing is that the CBFC or the Cinematograph Act provisions do not apply on content that is published on the OTT platforms in India, but by themselves the OTT platforms even till date continue to follow the provisions of the Cinematograph Act, and they continue to follow the entire standards of the CBFC. But उनको OTT platforms पे ये publish करने के लिए ऐसा follow करना ज़रूरी नहीं है. तो फिर OTT platforms को कैसे regulate किया जाए, the content that is published on these movies, इसके बारे में मैं अलग से चर्चा भी करूंगा. But as of now I can tell you that there is a law which has been made in India in the year 2000 which is called as the IT Act. और उस IT Act में संशोधन किया गया in the year 2008. There was an amendment that was made in this act in the year 2008, and under that there are sections that have been introduced in this act, including section 69A, which allows the government to block access to the intermediary websites and to content on these intermediary websites. इसी एक्ट के अंदर गवर्नमेंट ने आईटी रूल्स ऑफ 2021 भी बनाए हैं, which help in regulation of content on the OTT platforms. This is more or less a 3-tier self-regulatory kind of a structure that has been created for these OTT platforms. The structure is something like this, where at the base of it, अगर आप as a viewer कोई भी objection रखते हैं towards any content that has been published on any OTT platform, you can simply go and report it to the platform itself, and the platform would have a self-regulation mechanism in place. If you are not happy with the decision of the self-regulatory mechanism of the platform, then there will be an OTT regulatory mechanism as well, where multiple OTTs coming together will have their self-regulatory mechanism to consider the appeals against the decision or the actions of the platform's regulatory mechanism. And if you're not happy with that, then there is a regulatory mechanism that has been created at the level of Ministry of Information and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, which looks into whether the standards were properly followed or not, and whether the procedure was properly followed or not, and what are the actions that are supposed to be taken in this context. Let me also tell you, before I wrap up this particular topic, that as I said, that there have been various committees that have been formed in India in the past in order to suggest reforms in the functioning of CBFC. One of those committees that was formed was the Shyam Benegal Committee. So Shyam Benegal Committee that was formed in the year 2016 had given certain path-breaking recommendations, but unfortunately most of these recommendations have not been implemented properly. One of the recommendations that was given by the Shyam Benegal Committee was that we need to move from content-based regulation to age-based regulation. The other thing which the Shyam Benegal Committee suggested was that the board needs to have more female members. It needs to have greater representation of women representatives in order to ensure that there is gender equity that exists in the board. Apart from it, it also suggested they need to get more experts on panel and not just bureaucrats who should be deciding about the functioning of the CBFC and should be providing them advice on what kind of movies need to be taken, need to be published. And fourth, and a very important recommendation that was provided by the Shyam Benegal Committee, was that the CBFC needs to move from being a certificate issuing body to becoming a guidance body for the filmmakers in the country as to what is allowed, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, so that the artistic freedom in the country is not curbed. Then, lastly, what is the way forward? How do we actually reform the way the CBFC functions in India? देखिए, एक मूवी नहीं है, whether it is Satluj or whether it is Padmavat or whether it is Vishwarupam, or you can name endless number of movies starting even in the 1970s. You may have seen a movie called as Andhi, in which the protagonist in the movie had been shown to resemble like Indira Gandhi, and there was objection to that movie, और उसकी वजह से वो movie publish नहीं हो पाई थी उस समय पे. The point that I'm basically trying to make is that this is the problem that plagues our cinema and our society, and as they say that cinema is the true mirror of any society. और अगर हमें genuinely इस problem को effectively solve करना है, what are the things that we can be doing in order to go ahead? First and foremost, I would suggest that we should implement the Shyam Benegal Committee report, and we should be moving the CBFC from a censoring role to a certifying role and then to a guiding role. Secondly, it's important to restore the appellate mechanism in form of FCAT, because High Court जाना और उसके process के through deal करना can be very cumbersome and torturous for the filmmakers in the country. Third is that we should fix the board composition, CBFC's composition, and most importantly, we should set qualification criteria in the law itself with respect to the functioning of the board. And then very importantly, there should be zero tolerance for hecklers. If the movie has been provided certification by CBFC, if it has been given approval by the government also under Section 6, then who are people, those who are protesting out there on the streets even without watching the movie, asking the people to remove these movies, or even inciting violence? Should they not be the ones who should be behind the bars instead of the movie makers? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. I was reading in the newspapers that कुछ ग्रुप्स ने डिमांड किया है कि रामायण मूवी को स्क्रीन करने से पहले आप पहले हमें दिखाएंगे. आर दोज पीपल अबव लॉ ऑफ द कंट्री? आर दोज पीपल अबव पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया? आर दोज पीपल अबव द जुडिशरी ऑफ दिस कंट्री? दैट्स द क्वेश्चन दैट वी नीड टू आस्क आवरसेल्व्स. एंड इफ दे आर नॉट, then it is very important that CBFC follows the law under which it has been created. They must be transparent in their functioning. They must publish their annual reports. They must conduct their meetings regularly, even if they have shifted the process to an online mechanism. Because that is when truly we will be able to ensure some kind of decency, some kind of sensibility into the way the movies are censored in India. Let me close with where we began. शोले. 50 साल के लिए हमने शोले का वो वर्जन देखा जो रमेश सिप्पी ने नहीं बनाया था. We had to wait 50 years to watch the original movie. For 50 years we watched a compromise, a government approved version, a movie that had to make peace with a nervous state, एक घबराई हुई state. In 2025 finally the original movie ending was restored. Thakur crushes Gabbar. Justice, cruel yet personal, was delivered. ये जो छोटा सा एक्ट ऑफ रिस्टोरेशन है, इट इज अ हिस्टोरिक एक्ट, एंड इट रिमाइंड्स अस ऑफ व्हाट सेंसरशिप कॉस्ट्स अस. ये केवल फिल्म मेकर के लिए एक नुकसान नहीं है, बट इट इज अ लॉस टू द एंटायर सोसाइटी. बिकॉज व्हेन अ फिल्म इज कट, it is not the director alone who is diminished, it is the audience, the citizen, the public sphere. The Constitution of India does not require our citizens to be protected from ideas. Rather, it encourages the citizens to be expressive. What it requires is the state to be restrained in the exercise of its powers. I would therefore urge you to think about this particular topic, share it with other people, those who strongly resonate with the idea of absurd movie censorship in India and how there is a massive change that is required. Our constitution has provided us the promise of Article 19(1)(a), and it should be restricted only on the basis of the grounds that have been mentioned in Article 19(2) and nothing more than that. This is all that I had for the Manthan series for today. I would like to get your feedback, comments, suggestions on the video. Please do keep them coming in the comment section. You already know my email ID and my Telegram channel. I would also want to leave you with a few probable questions for the session that would help you to prepare better for the mains examination. And do have a look at the previous year question that was asked by UPSC in the year 2013, where they had asked that why do films in India stand on a different footing as compared to other forms of expression in the country. This is all that is there from my end. This was Manthan part 4. I'll be seeing you very soon with a very important topic for the mains examination. Till then, take care. Bye bye. All the best.